Hi folks, this is Dr. Neals Chitan again with another episode of D-News or Dr. Neals Emotional Wellness Support. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a bi-weekly social skill video blog which seeks to educate, inspire, challenge people to change. Change that you deserve in your life and I deserve in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to, at this juncture, thank all those who have subscribed and are sharing the link. I also want to thank those who have been responding. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that response that you are doing, that feedback you're giving us, that encouragement that keeps us going, is the fuel that keeps us going. But not only the fuel, but it also that will give us the clues to be relevant, to address issues that affect people out there. And so again, I want to thank you for those that have been responding and those that have been sharing the link. Again, we encourage you to hit the subscribe button and share the link. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you of our change matrix. It's something that I have introduced at the very beginning, and I'll be always emphasizing because I think it's such a simple yet profound way to deal with our information. That change matrix starts with the information arm, you may remember. And for those who are viewing for the first time, it's the information arm. Ladies and gentlemen, with all that information out there, all the satire, all the lies, all the conspiracy theories, it's taking a toll on people's health, emotional health. Ladies and gentlemen, there are times you may have to shut the TV off or shut down social media because it's going to damage your health. I meet so much people that are going to anxiety and depression because of all the information they're hearing. What we expect, ladies and gentlemen, is that you are going to use, God has given you the power and the brain power to process that information into the second arm, which is knowledge. And when you have knowledge, you know, you are able to apply the information relatively. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when information becomes knowledge, and knowledge turns into the third arm, which is belief, you would be surprised to see what happens in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, a belief brings passion, brings a conviction to your soul. Could you imagine what happens to a young boy that is hugged, a 16-year-old, by his mom and say, honey, I really love you and I want you to be the best you can. And that boy believes that, changes his life. Could you believe what could happen to a wife that thinks she's taken for granted, but the husband puts his arm around her and tells her how much he loves her and how much he cares for her and how much he wants to be with her for life? Could you imagine what that does to a wife if she really believes that? Ladies and gentlemen, look at what happened. The belief changed behavior. Woo! Powerful. Simple but powerful. The belief changed. You would do things you never thought you would have done. You get the courage to take on tasks you never thought you would have. But at the same token, you would actually probably break habits and behaviors that you know it's not good for you because you believe in yourself now. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when behavior changes, what happens? Lifestyle changes. Powerful. Use it in your life. I use it to process my information. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to remind you of the last episode and the launching of our vaccine. Aha! You did not know we have a vaccine too. Of course, you have the pharmaceutical companies coming up with their chemical vaccines to treat the virus or to boost your immune system so that you don't get infected or seriously ill with the virus. And so you have all the names, the AstraZeneca and the Pfizer and the Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson and it goes on. I just said there'll be others coming. What we've done was to create a psychosocial vaccine that gives you 6 doses, 6 powerful doses. And yes, it does create a chemical change in your brain too, because these are meant to empower you, inspire you, help you deal with your depression, help you deal with some of the psychosocial issues and traumas that COVID has brought to us. And so, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the variants that we've seen as a psychosocial interventionist that go around from home to home, from schools or what have you. We've seen sadness, we've seen frustration. And these are what some of the variants of our psychosocial vaccine. And it's called Astro Advisor. You'll see that in a while, right? It's going up against anxiety, panic attacks, extreme fear and paranoia, grief. And let's not say something about grief here, because, ladies and gentlemen, it is commonly believed that grief is associated with death alone. That's not true. Grief is an inbuilt natural sadness. It's a response to loss. It's a sorrow, it's an inbuilt sorrow that you experience when you experience loss in your life. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when a man loses his job, he goes through a grief cycle also. When a young student fails his exam or falls out of love, when a divorce happens and a family split, it's a loss. And people grieve also. There it is, loss, depression, suicide ideation. That's a thought and a talk about suicide. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you, when you hear that red flag, when you hear people talking about it, don't treat it as, usual. No. It's a red flag. Please help them get help. And what else? Suicides and homicides. And you notice that these are talking about death. And so today I want to talk a little about death. Before I get there though, here we have, again, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Dr. Chitan's Astro Advisor. So many people have called me or told me how much they like the label on that psychosocial vaccine. Ladies and gentlemen, it's in a bottle, but it's not a liquid. It's the powerful words and the powerful inspiration that will lift your spirit. So it's called Dr. Chitan Astro Advisor. Because what are we doing? We're actually giving you opinions. We are giving you concept. We are advising you how to go on. And it says combating fear, anxiety, depression, prolonged grief, sadness, hopelessness, suicide and suicide ideation. Ladies and gentlemen, it comes in 6 powerful doses of high-impact social empowerment, one-on-one or group sessions that will attack the debilitating psychosocial virus and boost your emotional and mental immunity. All right, so it's a new vaccine. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to let you know that we have been administering this vaccine, this inspiration, this empowerment. Recently, you might have heard of a situation where the T.A. Marisho Community College, TAMCC in Grenada, has lost 2 of its students. One to suicide, a 17-year-old young man, and a young lady, probably 17, 18, to the COVID virus. And that community, that academic community has been in sadness, thick clouds of grief hanging over that institute. And so, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of days ago, probably a week ago, I was asked to deliver one of our doses of this psychosocial vaccine, the Astro Advisor, to the students. We had in the National Stadium, by the way, the Kirani Gym Stadium, we had 35 friends of the young man and the young woman who died. And they came and we cried together and we grieved together, and they left there with some concept and strategies how to move on. So it's powerful, and just want to remind you of it. However, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk a little about what we've seen, what COVID has done to us when it comes to death. Ladies and gentlemen, we must understand as human beings that death is a reality. And the minute we start living, we are marching towards our grave. I know it sounds like a dim picture, but it's the reality, and the quicker we come to understand that, the better it's going to be for us. I do not want to emphasize, though, too much on the manufacturer's date, or what we call it, our birthday, and the expiry date, which is our death date. But ladies and gentlemen, what happens in between those two dates is the measure of the man or the woman. Is the contribution, the accumulative contribution that this individual has made to life. And that's what we usually celebrate when someone dies. Well, ladies and gentlemen, death is no doubt an enemy. And if you believe in the Bible, you may have heard people saying that death is an enemy. And it is something that really plagues the human race from the very first man. Everywhere we go, in countries all over the world, hillsides and valleys are just white tombs and graves are just pasted hillsides and cemeteries. As we bury family members, as we bury loved ones, as we bury children, or as we bury spouses. So death is not a great thing, and I don't know too many people, or I have not yet met someone who welcomed death. Although it is said sometimes that some people have suffered such excruciating pain in the final days that they would welcome death. Death is a relief sometimes at times. But ladies and gentlemen, overall, generally, nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to die. I mean, it is said that billionaires and trillionaires would pay out all they have if they could live any longer when death strikes. People that are plagued with these NCDs, non-communicable diseases like cancers and diabetes and kidney failures and heart disease, they would do anything. They would travel to all parts of the world, all corners of the globe, looking for remedies, naturopathic remedies or whatever remedies to give them longer life. But the truth about it is that sometimes we cannot stay the cold hands of death. Who wants to die? Not me. I know I will. But in the meantime, I want to use the life that I have. I want to extend it the best way I can, so I can be a blessing to all those who hear me. When my date comes, when my expiry date comes, my life will be celebrated as something that has helped somebody. However, ladies and gentlemen, with the coming of COVID-19, death, there is a kind of a abnormal, I want to say a crazy normal way that we have to now deal with death. You know, ladies and gentlemen, before, when someone dies in our family, we scream and we cry, and in Grenada it's called counting trouble or telling the story. We cry, and while we cry, we tell the story. And we tell the story why? Because we really don't want it to be true. We want it to be a bad nightmare. It's only a dream from which we'll wake up, we hope. But ladies and gentlemen, as the days go by, we come to terms with reality that indeed we've lost a family member. And then from the day of expiry, when a person dies, until the funeralizing or the burial of that individual, that period, that interim period, where we have to deal with it and come to terms with it until we finally, family come from abroad to celebrate their life, to mourn with us. It's not just a death, but sometimes it's a family reunion where you meet people that you haven't seen for a long time. And it's a coming together, it's a collective grieving together until closure. We see the grave closing as the casket goes down and the dirt fills it up. And we cry and we scream and we let go. COVID, on the other hand, has damaged that whole process. And here in Grenada, it's a 72-hour burial. When someone dies from COVID, what happens is that 2 family members go to the morgue just for identification purposes, and then the body is put in a casket, sealed, and in 72 hours time has to be disposed of. In a funeral where only probably 20 people could go, but I'm hearing the regulations are now relaxing, but that's what we know for the last year, probably a year and a half. And it has damaged us. We cannot grieve, we cannot let go the normal way we know. We cannot give the tributes we want to. We only have 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen. And so this COVID has interrupted this complete process and has plunged us into acute grief. There is going to be a residual grief. Residual grief. It's going to be, might be a long term for some people. It's going to be a long term. There'll be nightmares. There will be all kinds of stuff because we did not process it because of COVID. And ladies and gentlemen, while I'm there, let me talk a little about the grief I see in funerals. You know, not only do I attend the funerals here in Grenada, but I thank God for the virtual platforms that we are able to witness. If we cannot go, we could witness live as our friends, our family are buried, are funeralized. Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen the grief? Have you heard the screams as COVID-19 victims are buried? Are you hearing the stories that have been told, have been screamed out in the monotones as wives using the local parent scream and bawl as their husbands, the COVID-infected husbands are buried, as policemen are buried, as teachers are buried. And ladies and gentlemen, it's coming to a point now where I am saying to myself, why? Why? Ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, no one wants to die. People are seeking remedies. People are seeking unconventional treatments when given up by doctors. They don't want to die. Then the question is, why are we dying? How is it that a husband could tell a wife, you know, in one particular funeral I saw, I sat there on my couch as I watched on my television. I heard that woman screaming, "Who's going to pay the mortgage now? Oh, honey, you just bought me a car. And you're gone. Who's going to be the father for my children?" You hear, ladies and gentlemen, these screams, these painful screams. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I don't sound too tough, but I believe that many of these 198, if not 200 deaths, COVID-related deaths we see in Grenada here, could have been averted. Ladies and gentlemen, for over a year, government officials, Ministry of Health, people have been encouraging people to take the vaccine. And I'm not here as a vaccine proponent. However, if what I'm saying would encourage you, my friends, could you imagine standing at the graveside of someone as the casket is lowered and accepting the fact that it is their time to die? When there was an antidote, when there was an available antidote with people begging you to take the vaccine. Ladies and gentlemen, how could we say we love our spouses, love our children, and not doing what we have to do to prolong our lives so that we can love them for a longer time? How is it that we as men or women are tasked with the responsibility to raise children? We give birth to them. We send them to school. We want to see them do well. We want to see them grow up and become productive citizens. And these same children have to stand on the bank of a grave and watch our bodies being buried to the COVID infection. When, ladies and gentlemen, there was an antidote. And somebody said, you know what? Wow, that's like suicide. No, well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't use those harsh words. But it's a choice. If we had made that choice to live, to take a vaccine that would boost our immune system, it would have protected. And a lot of the 198 or probably 200 deaths we are seeing in Grenada could have been prevented. Ladies and gentlemen, I think about my mother. My 85-year-old mother, who is in a nursing home here in Grenada. And she and some of her friends were fully vaccinated. 85 years old. A stroke victim. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID ravaged that nursing home. 2 people died. Over 10 or 12 were infected. But those who had the vaccine, including my mother, tested negative. And by the way, that's a statement I want to take a look at. Because it would seem, if that is true, that that the vaccine is not only protecting us, but it's killing the virus. It would seem so. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm tired of seeing useless screaming and bawling and grief. We are doing that to ourselves. Many of the people who died did not have to die. Yes, there is a manufacturer's date, birthday, and yes, there is an expiry date, a death date, but we could have. Many of my friends who died to COVID could have been living still, could have been making contributions in their companies, in their schools, in their stations, wherever they worked, and now buried. And you ask the question, could it have been avoided? I say 100 times yes, could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today, although I'm promoting the Astro Advisor vaccine, which is the psychosocial vaccine, to boost your emotional and mental immunity, so you could deal with some of the psychosocial trauma of COVID, I'm also suggesting that if there is an antidote out there, young man, young woman, dad, mom, don't put your family through this. In the name of personal rights, I hear you. You have a right to determine what goes into your body. But you also have a right to provide for your children. You have a right to be there to see them grow up. Sir, you have a right to walk your daughter down the aisle and give her away on her wedding day. Ma'am, you have a right to be there when your son jumps off the floor in his graduation gown and cap for his degree. You have a right to be there. He has a right to look out in the audience and see his mom beaming with smile. So yes, you do have a right. But so does everyone that depends on you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as I bring this blog to an end today, I want to advise you. Do what is right. We've been hearing the term the greater good for a long time. There is an antidote available. Don't put your family at risk. Don't make your brothers and sisters cry and mourn and grieve and compromise their emotional health. No, do what you gotta do. God has given you a reason to live. Did you find it? Have you found it? If you find it, ladies and gentlemen, you would want to live. Yes, you want to live. Yes, you want to live as long as you can. You would want to see your children and grandchildren. You would want to see that project is started. And so today I want to advise you, ladies and gentlemen, as I come to an end, do what is right. We could bring back our living to a normal lifestyle again. We can get the economy up and running. We can get schools open. We can get churches praising the Lord. We can go on the beach and have beach parties. We can return to our big, grand celebrations and weddings and engagements and birthday parties. We can do what is right. And please, let's drive away this heavy, thick cloud of grief that's over our souls, over Grenada and the Caribbean. And let's move on to a bigger and better day. Thank you for listening today. And ladies and gentlemen, as I say goodbye, I want to let you know that you can get your dose or your doses of Astro Advisor, Dr. Chitan's Astro Advisor. For personal, community, or professional doses, you can call our WhatsApp number 473-416-8377 and our North American number at 647-692-6330. You can visit our website at www.motivate.org. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/C/Dr. Neals Chitan. It was my pleasure talking to you today. I hope it made sense for you, ladies and gentlemen. I ask you to take the information, process it into knowledge, process it into a belief system, and see how your behavior will change. See how your life will change. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you all.